Managers today are inundated by data. It wouldn't be much of a stretch to say that they're overwhelmed by it. This is the well-intentioned but unforeseen byproduct of the IT age in which we live. But raw data in and of itself, taken out of context, is useless for all intents and purposes. And it's more than useless. It can be very harmful. We hear it all the time from IT managers. Don't give me more reports. I've got a stack of reports on my desk today that I'm not going to be able to read. And it gets even worse. They'll say things like, I'm reacting all the time. Don't give me reports of what happened 30 days ago. Give me data that I can use so that I can actually act and predict and move forward, do some predictive analytics, if you will. So our challenge, our goal, our vision, if you will, is to make sure that we're working with our clients and working with the systems to get the right information at the right time into the right person's hands. And that's a useful part of that equation, so that they can act. Organizations are flattening all the time. They're getting flatter, they're getting more matrixed all the time. So what we have to be able to do is people need to be able to search information, they have to be able to deliver that information so that they can take the actions that they need in order to predict what's going to happen over the horizon. It starts with a hierarchy of needs based on the requirements of the job. Take a contact center, for example. The CSRs, the people who are making the initial contact with the callers, they have a very precise, a very exact need for tactical information about the caller. We at Eugene are working with our partner eLoyalty to implement systems that provide analysis of that caller history, analysis of the caller behavior. And what that enables the CSRs to do is maintain control of a call. That's a very powerful tool to put in the hands of someone who is at the initial collection point for the data. As you move upstream, as far as what the hierarchy of needs is for the information, the manager is more interested in a strategic view. Things like, what's the return on my investment? Doesn't mean that that management isn't interested in tactical information, but what is useful for them, what is actionable, are things like, how do we measure our return on our investment? Who are my best performers in my contact center, let's say? What are there opportunities out there for me to train my people? What are the trends across the enterprise that I, as a manager, need to think about, need to anticipate, need to plan for so that I can redeploy my resources going forward? Predictive analytics is very real. Predictive analytics is the ability to recognize trends, patterns, ebbs and flows, and draw conclusions from it in a timely fashion and get that information pushed out so that people can act again in a timely fashion. And it's something that we take for granted every day in our daily lives, something as simple as a calendar. For example, that shows us the holidays. We know when Memorial Day is, 4th of July, Labor Day, and all of that. And we're able to make adjustments to schedule and plan accordingly. Weather maps on the Weather Channel are the same thing. Predictive analytics takes that basic data, like a calendar, and puts it in motion. Let's go back to the call center for a moment. Your average call center representative, a CSR, handles 700 calls per month. That's an average. That's static data. At Eugene, what we do is we put that data in motion. And we start asking things like, well, that's 700 calls a month. What's going on in the calls? What can we learn from that? What are the trends? What's coming out of that we didn't see 6 months ago? What are the metrics that we were using, say, 6 months ago to measure the productivity in a call center? Are those metrics still valid? Are we improving? Or perhaps maybe we need to measure some different things. Are we actually measuring the right behaviors? And are we reinforcing, again, getting the predictive capabilities here, are we reinforcing the right behaviors? At Eugene, we kind of look at it as past performance is the best indicator of future behavior. That's human nature. And what we're trying to do and what we're working to do and the systems we're putting in place are mimicking that very human condition.